Hey, you okay? Ah, you're finally awake.
Oh.
About time too, because I think we're gonna land soon. And I don't want to be in this thing any longer.
Yeah, well, I need my beauty sleep.
I think we should be landing in a couple minutes.
Finally.
What brings you out here anyway? It's not exactly an ideal environment.
Work. The money is good.
Yeah, well, I guess that kind of makes sense. I'm here to get away from my wife.
Your wife?
Nah, I'm only joking. I'm actually here for scientific reasons. I mean, we're literally doing vital research.
Passengers, we are on our final approach. Buckle in. Base, this is Alpha Bravo 29er requesting permission to land. We are ETA 2 minutes out. Copy that, Alpha 29er. You're clear for approach. LZ is clear.
I told you we were close.
Yeah, you weren't lying.
Here we go.
Charlie Delta 29er, final approach. Copy, Charlie Delta 29er, confirmed for final approach. Bring her in.
This is literally so exciting.
Landing gear check. LZ clear. Coming in for landing.
Get ready, because it's gonna be cold.
We have touchdown.
Hello everyone, I'm finally here.
Wow. We finally made it to camp.
Well, if it isn't the new recruits. Welcome to Camp Rockhopper, where you're gonna be spending the next few years of your miserable lives. So, you better get used to it. As for you, you can call me Captain John.
Okay.
I've read your files, son. Seems to me you're pretty good with vehicles. Well, that's absolutely perfect, because I have a special treat for you.
I literally just arrived.
Now, you're probably thinking, what could Captain John have in store for you?
Like I said, I literally just got here, so I don't know.
We're sending you straight out onto a field expedition, and that will be your mission for the next couple months. That's right, you're not sticking around for long, so get ready.
Can you believe this guy? We literally just got here.
Well, I mean, that's literally the job. And for this mission, you're going to be using the pinnacle of Arctic exploration technology, the Arctic Train.
Did he just say Arctic Train?
Well, look what we have here. Couple of newbies, if you ask me. My name's Marvin, nice to meet ya.
We've been sent here to do some work. We need to use the train.
Yeah, I know. I've got the whole train prepped and ready for ya.
Oh, I guess that's cool.
Well, don't just stand there. Come inside.
Yay!
Well, systems are all fully operational. Everything's working fine here, so I guess I'll leave it up to you guys.
Well, I mean, is there like a manual or something?
Oh, don't be silly, mate. You've got this. I'm out of here. Good luck.
So, do you know how to drive a train?
Yes, guys. Welcome back to another video, and yes, I am showcasing my latest creation, as you can tell from the really fancy intro there. We have built an Arctic train, and it is one of my favorite creations I've ever built. Building a vehicle that's perfect for a new map like this one. There is quite a few things to talk about this vehicle, and by the end of the video, hopefully you guys will understand why I enjoyed this vehicle so much, and I'll show off all the details and the functionality, and also some extra things. We are showing off the Arctic train. So just like with my previous sets, I have built an Ocean Explorer set. I have built a few vehicles for this set, the Arctic Explorer set. Dude, I literally need to start my own like in-game company like Lego because I'm basically building Lego sets. But this is the first creation I have made using the tank tracks for the set. Now, it's not a conventional train like a normal train would be on a train track. Now, the build, as you can see, is separated into 3 different segments. We have the front segment, which is the main cabin, the engine. The second segment, it is actually a lab/greenhouse. And then finally, at the rear, we have a housing unit for an extra vehicle. And I will show off that extra vehicle soon. Okay, first off, let's talk about the first cabin here. So for functionality, I'm using 2 Dragon engines. All of the golem tracks are connected to those 2 Dragon engines. And for steering, I'm just using a gyro. We do have the new tank steering block. However, I find it to be a bit tricky and like steering, so I've used a gyro instead. Now, the turn circle on this thing isn't the best, obviously, because we're pulling a bunch of weight, but it's decent enough to get us around. On the top, we have 3 headlights, 2 horns, and some greebles. I really like the spinning radar dish. That's probably one of my favorite things to do with that little greeble, and that servo just spins around forever. I gotta say, I love the traction with these tank tracks, because this vehicle actually climb up some pretty steep locations just by using only 2 Dragon engines. Now, for the functionality, we actually can open up the front windscreen. So if you press E, the front windscreen can open. There you go, it's open. So I don't know, it's just a little feature. If you're using the first person experience, then yeah, I guess it's a little thing extra. Talking about the first person experience, I am in first person now, and damn, we are short kings, my friend. But we have a door on the side. Now, there is a door on each one of the compartments or the segments. To actually open it, you need to jump up and activate that sensor. It's on the top, so a little bit tricky to do, but there you go. It's opening, and it opens up slowly. And then once it's open, you can jump in, and it will close up behind you because there's a sensor inside that closes it up. It's just a toggle system, really simple, but yeah, you have the door closed. Inside, we have 2 beds, a bunk bed with a little ladder and little wedges that, you know, you can pretend that those are little TVs for entertainment purposes. Because if you're out on the road, you need some entertainment, right? In the middle, we have a like an analog computer. I'm using a lot of decals here, a bunch of different decals. Some of them are from some DLCs, but my favorite thing is, of course, this classic, put the radar decal on a hood cap and let it spin. And yeah, it just looks cool. And of course, finally, we have the driver's seat. So in the front of the cabin, this is what it looks like. We have a few decal dials and stuff, and as well as a little mug there. But this is the star of the show, because that is actually a fully functional throttle stick. And I have different settings here, or different speeds, I should say. Even a reverse. We only have 1 speed for reverse. There we go. Neutral. First speed. Second speed. And we're going to fall off this cliff in a minute. But there's actually 4 speeds. And to do that, I've used an accumulator and a bunch of logic to just get this stick to move. But guys, come on. That adds so much character to the build, right? Especially for a first-person experience. Also, this is what it looks like when you open up the windscreen in first person. Pretty cool. All right, next up, we have the second segment of the train. And this is the lab and greenhouse segment. So if I just open up by jumping, there we go. It's opening. Yes. All right. And then we can just hop inside. There you go. And we are inside probably the most complex part of this build just because of the detail. So let's go over all of the detail and why I've used blocks in these specific ways to add an interior. Trailmakers is a game not really known for people making interior. I mean, there's a lot more advanced building games specifically for interior. For example, Stormworks. But just because it's not optimized in Trailmakers doesn't mean you shouldn't try. And here is a great example. So here we have a vine, like a tomato fruit vine or a tomato plant. Is tomato a fruit or a vegetable? You know what? I actually don't know that. I've used the snakes here, and this is probably one of the most rarest blocks for people to use. I've never seen anybody use the snake blocks, really. on anything. There are supposed to be a hood ornament, but I've never seen people use them. But for this, I've just put a green decal on them, as well as using the eyepieces to make a little like plant there, and it just from far away kind of looks pretty good. We also have a bed of plants and stuff growing down here, so I've used some antennas, and I don't know, you can say that's like a sci-fi plant or whatever with like little glow berries on it. Looks pretty good in my opinion. And as well as the coconut trophy piece you actually get from completing one of the islands in the High Seas DLC. Just using the top of those, looks like plants. Neat little trick. Here we have a shelf full of, well, these are actually tooth pieces. This green one could be like an emerald or something, and then that blue one could be like, I don't know, pearl. You know, it's you've got to really use your imagination here. And finally, we have the workspace. So yeah, this is supposed to be like a microscope, a little laptop or something. You know, we got a fan there, a sink, like a dial with some hot water and some flasks, really. If you actually put the time in, you can make some pretty detailed interiors. However, it is complex. Your complexity runs out pretty quickly. All right, let's open up the door and show off the final segment of the train. All right, for this last part of the train, we actually have a housing unit for a vehicle. And if you just hit that distance sensor on the side, it opens up like that. And we have some space in there. Yeah, look at that. Nice and lit up too. However, we're missing a vehicle. There's supposed to be something in here. And I think one of the workers is actually using that vehicle. Hopefully it brings it back soon. Oh, wait. Speak of the devil. Here he is. Wow. Okay. May I introduce to you the companion vehicle to my Arctic train, the Snow Leopard. Now, the Snow Leopard is a snowmobile. I've used the small tank tracks here, and it's got one engine inside and the skis for steering. Really simple build, but looks really good. It's quite nippy, it's quite fast, which is actually perfect because the train isn't a fast vehicle. So having like this companion vehicle be fast, you can actually use it to go scout out the areas and go ahead of the train. I don't know, you can use it for different roleplay purposes, I suppose. But go ahead and show them how it tucks into the back of the vehicle there. There you go, it fits in. Oh, it takes some practice. Yeah, it is Trailmakers. You'll get it soon. There you go. He got it in the back. And then I can just close the door if I can get my character to move correctly, and then the snowmobile is inside the back and I can continue using the train. And yeah, it's really cool. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of an experience here, first person experience. Open up the door. I'm in the snowmobile. There we go. Yes. Woo! And everyone has a snowmobile. So we're going to ride this around for a little bit because it is so fun to ride. So many people have been using the new small tank tracks, the Lynx tank track, to make snowmobiles, and I think they're specifically designed for builds like this. But the reason I love this small creation so much is because of the tank tracks and the skis have their own like suspension. You don't actually need to use suspension, and when you go up like little snow hills, the build lands perfectly back on its, well, I was gonna say feet, but you know, skis. Yeah, but just worth mentioning, the Snow Leopard is, even though it's small and simple, look at that. Look at these guys. Whoa, look at that. Woo! It's really fun to use. So a great addition to the Artic Explorer set. All right, we're back to the train, so let's get back on the move. And I think we should head back on over to the Snowdrift Sea. And I'm going to use this time to talk about why decals and a good paint job really bring your builds to life. So it's pretty obvious, but you can see on the top of the Arctic train, everything is white. Now, with all of my snowy winter-themed builds, I've been doing this a lot recently. And to do that, I'm just using a couple different decals. Just a nice, simple white decal on the top because there's a thick layer of snow. There's actually no snow there. It's a decal, obviously. But on the edges, I've been using some gradients to make it look like the snow is kind of faded a bit. Basically, everything that's exposed and on the top of everything is a white decal to make it look like there's been snow falling on the creation. Also, not to mention, on the glass, we actually have a frosted effect. By using a decal on the side of the glass, just on the edges or on the top, and smearing it, you can make it look like your glass has frosted. So, what else can this build do? Well, let me show you. If you didn't see or didn't notice, there is actually detachable blocks in between each of the segments of this train. And what you can do with that is detach the different segments of the build. Now, you won't be able to reattach back onto them. I mean, to do that, just repair the build, I guess. But if you wanted to, you know, for roleplay reasons, detach both segments and just have the front segment as its own vehicle, the front segment alone works really, really well. And it's also faster. You're not pulling all that weight. And the reason I really like this small feature is because of the playability. Now that these parts are detached, they won't go anywhere. So you can kind of set up like little buildings. So obviously we have the lab, and this is just like a building now people can use. It's fully functional with the door. And of course we have this part, the housing unit. And yeah, you can also park up the snowmobile overnight if you don't want it to get covered in snow and keep it dry, you know? So if you wanted to make the little back compartments like their own little buildings, using the detachable blocks like this is really cool. They're kind of like little caravans. I do have a bit of a bonus build here, which is basically the same compartment without the tag tracks. So if I just wanted to have its own, like a building like this, or a container even, I can use this as just a crate or a box, put it on my camp, and store away a snowmobile like this. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. First time. Okay, I'm taking the cabin out to the ice again because we need to show off the last thing that this can do. And it involves that magnet on the front of the creation. you can really get up to speed. So what is that magnet actually for? Obviously, it's going to magnetize to something, right? And it's really far in, so it's not practical to attach to different builds, or different vehicles, I should say. But it can attach to something special. And that is a snowplow or a snow wedge. Look at that. So this has been designed to perfectly attach to the Arctic train. You can see that there's a distance sensor here, and there's some pistons inside that actually act as, well, they have friction pads on and stop the wedge really moving, as well as some distance sensors on the side to get the perfect alignment. So if I put my train on the front of this, it should align up perfectly. All right, let's give it a try. I kind of need to be gentle with this though, because it is still Trailmakers. All right, there we go. And then you wait 5 seconds, or a couple seconds even, and it should attach, and those pistons go up because of the distance sensor. And we now have a snow wedge. Look at that. Now we can carve through the snow with this wedge. Now, some of you are probably thinking, well, if you wanted to have a snowplow or a wedge, why didn't you just add one to the build itself instead of using a magnet? Well, that's because, my friends, I wanted to have modular wedges, different variants of snowplows. So with the wedge, this is just designed for more aerodynamics to get through the snow a little quicker if you're going straight, really. But let me show you this next wedge. And to do that, I need to detach from this one. All right, for the second attachment, we have a wider snowplow. So let's spawn that in and make sure the pistons are not glitching through the ice. There we go. And we have the whole train back together again here, because with this wider snowplow, there we go. Let's get a good attachment. There we go. We're nice and locked in. How clean is that attachment? So with the snowplow, this is specifically designed to flatten the snow. So with the wedge, really that was to pierce through it. But here, we want to flatten the snow. And this is perfect because for roleplay reasons, if you needed to camp out in the middle of the snowy environment here, a good thing to do is actually flatten the snow for your camp. So push all the snow out of the way, make it nice and flat. This may take a few times to actually get a good flat area here, but it's looking pretty good. And there you go. That's a pretty good flat area. And now that this area is flat, let's detach and set up camp. So there's the back housing unit and the lab. Now we have a nice little flat area for our characters to walk around. And yeah, it's just better. Especially if you want to set up a cozy campfire. Ooh, toasty. And finally, we actually have one more attachment. Now, I could really make as many attachments for this as possible. If I think of some crazy things, I could probably make it and attach it to the front of the train. But just for this video, I only have one more attachment to show off. And it's probably the goofiest, but funniest and coolest attachment of them all. I made a giant drill. Look at this drill bit. It is huge. Now, I guess you could say that this one is specifically designed for mining and carving stone and stuff. So let's see if we can attach to it. All right, easy. There you go. Line her up. There you go. We're connected. And with that connection, after a few seconds, the drill turns on, obviously because of the distance sensor. And look how cool that is. Do you not think that's cool? Look how versatile this train is. We got those stupid shrimp. Let's see if we can mine the shrimp. All right, here we go. No, I don't think we're getting through this one, chaps. He must be made of bedrock. This guy's literally made of obsidian. But yeah, we have a freaking power drill, dude. So you know what? If you guys have any ideas on what else I could add on the front of this train as an attachment, just let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's pretty much everything to do with my Arctic train. I hope you guys really like this build because I do. I absolutely adore this. It took me pretty much like 2 days to put this thing together. Not because it's a difficult build, just because like I really took my time with it, with the ideas, and you know, it just came together naturally. I didn't have a plan. I just started putting things together. I think I started off with the back. Yeah, I started off with the back end, and after multiple hours, this is what we came up with. So go ahead and give it a rating out of 10 in the comments. And also, don't forget to rate the little snow leopard too, because it is a companion vehicle. It is its own thing, and we don't want the little snow leopard not to get a rating, do we? So finally, let's just show off all of the Arctic vehicles together. So far, that is 5 to the collection. But we're not done here, because I'm definitely going to be adding to this in a future video. Alright, there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. This has been my showcase, a really fun video for me to record. Again, please let me know what you rate these creations out of 10 below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye! What? You just landed on me.